I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
No more wars, no more disruptions. We will have prosperity and we will have peace. Under Trump, we will have no more wars, no more disruptions. I am the candidate of peace. I am peace. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future. And it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran.
I have one question. What about those eggs? Y'all remember that? What about the cost of eggs in the United States? What about the cost of gas? What about the cost of life itself in this nation? Donald Trump said that if Kamala Harris became president, we would be at war within 6 months. Homeboy, you did it in 5. Donald Trump said that on day 1, as a matter of fact, before he even became president, he said the war between Russia and Ukraine would be at an end. The war is still raging. And now, we just bombed 3 nuclear facilities in Iran. When the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, came out in March to members of Congress and said, Iran is nowhere near a nuclear weapon. Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, has been saying for over 30 years, Iran is making a nuclear weapon. And there has yet to be an iota of evidence to prove that. An iota. This is no different than George Bush's whole campaign on Iraq having a nuclear weapon. Weapons of mass destruction. And turns out the whole thing was a lie. And now, our service members in the Middle East are at risk because we're getting involved in foreign wars, which Donald Trump said he would not do. This was Israel's fight, and it should have been left to Israel. I just say again, what about those eggs? Where did that go? There was all this talk about Kamala Harris starting a war. What is this? We're supposed to be cutting government spending. Now we're dropping bombs that are worth $18 million each. We're almost $40 trillion in debt. Going back to the Middle East, where I thought a lesson was learned. And a hard-fought lesson. This is utter madness.
Okay. So, let me get this straight. Every single motherfucker that voted for Trump were saying things like, Trump's gonna end all wars, all that bullshit. And if Kamala was elected, she'll freaking start a war freaking when it's her time of the fucking month. One, how does it feel knowing that you have no fucking idea how a woman's body works? Because last time I checked, Kamala Harris is 61 years old. And women start menopause in their mid-40s. And to any of the sycophantic nut-gargling MAGA fucktards who don't know what menopause is, it's when the woman stops having her period. It's when she can no longer have children. If I'm not mistaken, that means Kamala doesn't get her period anymore. But you know who does? Fucking Trump. And he literally just started a war with Iran. And do I even need to mention all of his stupid, bitchy rant posts on Truth Social? Bro, I honestly, truly feel like if Kamala was elected, we would all be rich. We would all be set for fucking life. If not rich, we would definitely still have more money in our fucking pockets than we do with this motherfucker in office. Motherfuckers were not only dumb enough, but misogynistic enough to say that Kamala will start a war during her time of the month. Oh, and might I add again, she doesn't get her period anymore. Meanwhile, President Pedophile is over here freaking crashing out on Truth Social, whining and crying like a high school girl who is on her period. And now we're at war. You know, MAGA, y'all are real quiet right now. You remember how y'all said Trump is gonna end all wars and shit? Yeah. Y'all are real quiet. Y'all are really quiet now. Doesn't surprise me. Get fucked.
Is this what we voted for? Is this what we voted for? These are the questions that Trump supporters are asking. They are shocked. They are dazed. They are like, you told us you're going to be the president of peace. You told us you're going to bring peace to the whole wide world. But right now, the opposite is the case. And everybody's like, what is happening? Everybody's dazed and they're like, we voted for egg to be more available. We voted for groceries to be cheaper. We voted for inflation to go down. We voted for housing to be more available. But right now, opposite is the case. You are making an increase in uproar. You know what I'm talking about? WW. You understand what I'm talking about, guys? Instead of peace is the opposite. And a lot of MAGAs are like, what is happening? We are expecting the cost of egg to be cheaper, to fall lower. We're expecting beef to be more available. But right now, Mr. President, what are you doing? And these are the questions that everybody's asking right now in America. Welcome to my channel, guys. Guys, are you aware and are you shocked about the speech of Mr. President when he said that you guys should be ready to sacrifice? And Black Americans, white Americans, everybody, they are saying that. What do you mean? We didn't plan to sacrifice. We plan to get a cheaper cost of living. And right now, it's not funny any longer. Welcome to my channel. Let's go into the videos that I've put together for you guys today. It's not really funny. It is not funny. It is not funny, guys. Everything that is happening right now is the opposite of what he promised to them that voted for him. And of course, a lot of people are saying, guys, this is what you voted for. You're getting it. Even though you are deceived to an extent, but it looks like, hey guys, you voted for this. Credible and original creator of every content that stitches into this episode. Guys, let's go check out this video. And when I come back, the conversation shall continue. I'll be right back. Subscribe, like, and share if you love this great content. Don't go nowhere.
Peacetime president, huh? Y'all remember during the campaign when they were fear-mongering about the Biden administration and Kamala Harris, and they were saying that if you vote for them, they're going to get us into wars. They tried to paint the Democrats, who have not actually gotten us into any wars, as the wartime party. Y'all remember that? And remember how somehow that worked? And everybody told y'all that that was not the case, that Republicans are the ones who usually get people into wars. Well, I hate to say I told you so. So I won't, actually. I'll just say that America is now at war. So less than 48 hours ago, the Palm Springs administration decided to work with that region over there in It's Not So Real and strike Iran. This happened in the middle of the night in an operation that they are called Operation E-Man Fury. I mean, Operation Epic E-Man Fury. Sorry, Operation Epic Fury, which we all know as Operation E-Man Fury. Now, these strikes were launched unilaterally without congressional approval. Wars cost money, so the Congress is the one who approves the wars. This explains why they needed that $1.5 trillion in the defense budget. He didn't want that for nothing. He was already planning this. And the Congress, like stupid ass idiots, gave him that money and then are shocked and chagrined that he uses it for something that they should have approved. Now, after lambasting Hillary Clinton in the 2016 elections for supporting the war in Iraq, that was his whole thing back then. Now he is throwing around the idea that, yeah, there will be American casualties. That's just what happens in war. So wait, y'all spent 11 years talking about Benghazi, which only took the lives of 4 people, and now you're just throwing around American casualties like it's an order at McDonald's? The party of pro-life, huh? He knows he is throwing America into another Middle Eastern war after campaigning on not having any more wars. And he knows what that means. He knows that Americans are going to be unalived, 3 of which have already been unalived, with 5 having serious injuries. 3 American military personnel have already been unalived. This would not have happened without that unilateral strike. So where's the Benghazi crew that cares so much about American lives that you will spend 10 years investigating Hillary Clinton over 4 people, yet this man is about to get hundreds of thousands unalived? Where you at, y'all? Or was that all performative, as usual? Now, according to sources, there were 3 strikes. One of them was on the compound of Ayatollah Khamenei. And it was confirmed by not only Is Not So Real, but the US and Iran that he is no longer with us. Now, admittedly, people in Iran did not like him. So yeah, they were out celebrating in the streets. However, that doesn't mean a darn thing when it comes to what is going to happen in that region. The fact that that strike was illegal in the first place because it was an act of war, not sanctioned by Congress. And like with that whole situation in Mexico, they have a secession situation in place. Like, taking out the leader hasn't worked in like 3,000 years, y'all. Any type of regime like that has a succession strategy in place. Like, if anything were to happen to Bone Spurs, the couch-friendly VP would take over. And he would be arguably worse because he is a lot smarter than Bone Spurs, a lot more subtle than Bone Spurs, and maybe even more evil than Bone Spurs. He did author Project 2025. So no, just because you took out the Ayatollah and people are happy in the streets because they hate him, I can relate, doesn't mean that suffering is coming. And it already has. Because I said that there were 3 strikes. And even though I don't know where the 3rd strike is, I know where the 2nd strike happened. There was an Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps base that has actually been a target before. The speculation is that that was one of the targets that they struck. However, there was an elementary school near that area in Minab, and that was the place that was actually struck. They struck an elementary school, an all-girls elementary school. There was about 170 people in that school, and they have recovered 148 bodies at the time of filming. That's what they did. They unalived an elementary school full of little girls. Now, it is important to say that Iran is accusing them of doing that. The US said that they will look into it, and Is Not So Real doesn't recall there being an attack in that area. I don't recall, really. So no, not everybody is celebrating. The parents of those children are mourning right now. And the US and Is Not So Real didn't do anything but piss Iran off. There is a reason why Obama chose diplomacy. Iran is not Iraq, and it's not Afghanistan. And this was not a smart play. I don't care how you dress it up. There were ways to deal with Iran. This was not one of them. Now, Is Not So Real in the US decided this was the time to strike because of Sabbat and Ramadan. So it caught Iran off guard. But they weren't caught off guard for long because they launched their retaliatory strikes almost immediately after. And they're not just firing indiscriminately. They are showering Tel Aviv, which, yes, has the Iron Dome, but strikes are getting past the Iron Dome's defenses. So the city itself is being struck. The same thing is happening in Dubai. The same thing is happening in Bahrain. And like I said, Iran isn't firing indiscriminately. They're going after the US military bases there, the CIA buildings. They're going after the Americans who are there. And like I said at the top of this video, at time of filming, 3 Americans have already been unalived. 3 Americans who did not ask for this. As of this taping, 201 people have been unalived in Iran, with 750 people injured. This all apparently happened with those 3 strikes. Notice that like 150 of that 200 people are children. And I wish I could say that America is up to this challenge. And we very well may or may not be, because our military is extremely strong. But our national security is extremely weak. The puppy Grim Reaper Kristi Noem has made sure of that. July 8th of 2025, the Puppy Grim Reaper made an announcement that they will no longer be checking shoes in the airports. So people no longer have to take off their shoes when they are getting on the plane. Their reasoning for this is because they have that full body scanner now. Problem is, in November, the Inspector General did a report saying that those full body scanners are not really equipped to fully scan shoes when you don't take them off and you just go into the full body scanner. So people are going on planes with shoes that have not been properly checked, which is a huge threat to our national security because of all the different things that you could store in a shoe. This, of course, creates security risks that rival that of 2001. They are certainly going with Make America Great Again's greatest hits, because this could very well be a deja vu if Iran decides that they want to go, I don't know, take over an American plane. And now our airport security is lax because the people running the country are completely incompetent. The sad thing about all of this is that it was grossly foreseeable. Anybody who is surprised about what is going on was not paying attention.
Everyone wake up right now because we are at war with Iran. It's always happening during the night. It's always happening when we're sleeping. I can't even stretch yet. And I'm sitting here trying to talk to y'all because I literally get up and this is what I have to hear. This is what you missed when you were sleeping because the United States and Israel together, a joint mission together, carried out strikes against Iran. And we are actively at war with Iran. That's what Donald Trump is saying. And he's saying that the U.S. lives might be lost, but that's what happens during war. What? You were the president that said we would not be going to war. You were the person that said that there would not be any regime changes. Everything that you are saying never ends up happening. And I know everyone has speculated for a long time that this was going to happen. I get it. But at the same time, how many more things can Americans really deal with right now? And why were you ever expecting to get a Nobel Peace Prize for ending 8 wars? But here you are now starting one. There's no way that you can actually sit here and say that you are the man of peace. You are the man of peace. You demanded a Nobel Peace Prize and you're starting a war with Iran. How?
We are at war with Iran.
For why?
A legit war, like missiles and everything. Death.
Yeah, did I see he bombed again last night?
Yes, he and Israel, they've been bombing actively. Very, very, very bad situation what we have going on right now.
And do we know what is their logic? What are they saying is the reason for this war?
They are saying that they are basically protecting the regions, helping out Israel, because you know what they've always said, it's always been the position of the United States, that if Israel is not safe, then no one in the world is safe, which I find like complete bullshit.
It is complete bullshit.
It's a lie that they've been selling to us for a while because they're getting a lot of money from AIPAC and a lot of money from Netanyahu. And we somehow manage to create and adopt this little monster that goes away in the middle of the night and eats people and then comes back and sleep next to you in your bed. It's like kind of those monsters from Stranger Things.
Oh my God.
These people have given us nothing.
Have you seen the clips where everyone's talking about Trump like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, was saying, oh, the president's going to take us to war with Iran and I'm a peacemaker. Have you seen those yet?
Yeah, he's always been portrayed as the president of peace. I don't know where the fuck did they get that.
Self-proclaimed.
Yeah, it's not peace if you're creating the wars and then trying to eliminate them. That's not how it works.
Oh my God.
But you know what it is, in all honesty? I think it's just a distraction from the Epstein files.
For sure.
Yeah, there's no other better, more suited and complete explanation for what's happening.
It's become a fun little game for him to go into countries and either take over or bomb or create havoc. He thinks this is like a video game, I'm convinced.
Have you seen the movie Wag the Dog?
No.
You should watch it. It's a fantastic movie. The movie Wag the Dog was portrayed by Robert De Niro and Dustin Hoffman. And it's the story of this president. And I am telling you, this is like life imitating art. It was created back in the 90s where the president of the United States gets into a situation or a sexual scandal. And there's this guy, he's basically like a spin doctor, portrayed by Robert De Niro, where he is trying to control the narrative and change the situation in regards to how are people going to view the president, because they are going into elections again. And they want to make sure that his numbers don't sink because of the sexual scandal. So he has the brilliant idea and says, we're going to create a movie about going into war with Albania. I'm not fucking with you. Go watch the movie. And he says, I'm going to hire this Hollywood director to create this facade that we're going into war with Albania. And they even talked to Albanians, and they managed to get a camera crew, to get a music jingle, like and Willie Nelson.
Oh my God.
And Willie Nelson does the song, and it's like a We Are the World kind of bullshit, and they get a bunch of artists, and they manage to create and generate with actors and camera crews and everything by a director in Hollywood, which is played by Dustin Hoffman, where they are basically distracting people into thinking that we are going into war so that they don't think that the president is in a sexual scandal. And the movie's called Wag the Dog, which is the term, wag the dog, to have people distracted from the true situation that is happening and is of more importance. Isn't that fucking wild?
Well, Trump made the announcement. It's official. We're at war with Iran. And announcements have been made that Iranian missiles are headed toward Israel. The first strikes seemed targeted and limited, but Trump made it clear they're going to escalate. And he also warned of the possibility of U.S. casualties. So it looks like we're in a full-fledged war. Israel has warned its citizens of the possibility of retaliation, and obviously that's beginning to happen because they're reporting the missiles headed their way. But we need to understand there's also a possibility of retaliation against us because we're right in the middle of it. So our peace president has us in yet another military clash with another country. And this is beyond an operation like Venezuela was. This is a war.
There has never been less of a plan. Watching the footage coming out of Iran this morning was horrifying enough, but then watching Trump's speech about it made the whole situation so much scarier. There is no plan for what happens next. This isn't even regime change. This is the first half of regime change. Usually with regime change, you have a successor picked out. You have a transition plan. We don't have that. Trump made that clear. We are attacking this country, destroying its infrastructure, and then telling 90 million people to figure out what happens next. I mean, the U.S. government has always done stuff like this, but we used to at least send in the CIA. Some spies would poke around, there would be a coup, and we would install a friendly regime. It was morally indefensible, but at least it was a plan. We can't even do conspiracies right anymore. All we're doing is taking out the Iranian regime and hoping that there's not a civil war in its place. This is psychotic. Also, we can't forget what it is this is costing. Not just in reputation, but actual dollars. Every time you see a missile hit a building, that missile cost $2 million. That's how much money we are spending on this. Just this morning, the government probably spent about $600 million. Just blown up. We like saying that this is our tax dollars at work, but that's kind of a lie. The U.S. government doesn't have tax dollars just sitting around. This is borrowed money. This is credit card spending. In a time when all we talk about is affordability, healthcare, rent, groceries. We're literally watching our money blow up halfway around the world, and we're getting nothing in return. Like I said, there's no plan here. Nobody knows what happens next. But we do know there will be a bill to pay, and it's going to come to us.
Now we're at war with Iran. And he says, yeah, we're going to lose some troops. We're going to lose some good men and women. So sorry, folks, if you lose your sons and daughters. Somehow that makes America great, right?
Well, We literally went from eggs to war in 153 days. Trump has bombed Iran, a country who has done nothing to us, and he did it without congressional.
Seriously. I've had a lot of stuff online, a lot of prophecies about what is happening now, that is going to happen, and a lot of. If I'm going to say what I've heard, it's going to be like, I'm going to be talking in the next 10, 20 minutes. But let me try and just summarize it, because I want your views and perceptions to start coming in. I want to hear what you have to say. What do you think about this? I know that a lot of Americans are against what is happening between America and Iran. A lot of Americans are not in support of it. They're like, this is not what we voted for. We want peace. but on a lighter note, guys, has there been peace, apart from the fact that what is happening right now between America and Iran is happening? Has there been peace all along? As the cost of food cheaper, cost of living, cost of inflation, cost of groceries, have they been cheaper? So has there been peace? That's a question. And right now, Black Americans are saying, we told you, you didn't listen to us. And the MAGAs are saying, you told us, Mr. President, that you're going to give us peace. You're going to bring an end to war. This is not an end. This is just like you're starting a fresh war, a fresh battle, a fresh uproar. And they are saying that this is not what we're bargaining for. And you're not giving a speech, and you're saying that everybody should sacrifice. A lot of things will happen, blah, blah, blah. It happens, blah, blah. And Americans are saying, are you really serious? Are you talking to us? We voted for the cost of egg to be cheaper, for the cost of meat, for the cost of groceries to be cheaper. This is not what we voted for. And Americans are saying, no, we don't want this. We want peace. We want love. We want joy. We want happiness, and not this. This is not what you told us. And it looks like MAGAs have been, have been fooled again. They've been deceived again. And it's looking like, really, how do we get here? Suddenly it's dawning on those guys and those MAGAs and those guys that voted for him. It looks like, is it true? Is this how we're going to gain respect? Is this how America is going to gain recognition? Is this how America is going to gain the respect and the allegiance of countries by you bullying them? This is what guys that voted for him are asking. This is not my words. I mean, guys, should you listen to what everybody said? I mean, right now it's looking like, oh, this guy deceived us. This guy fooled us. What is the background of this Ulabalu actually? The background is that there was a deal signed by America and Iran as to, when it comes to missile development, when it comes to all of those, stuff. And when this guy came in, he stopped the deal. And now, Iran was like, since the deal has been stopped, let's go back to production of, let's become world power when it comes to, development of missiles and all of that. And America tried to, talk, to bully these guys so that they can stop, they have oil, they have money, they have uranium, they have a lot of stuff they can use to build, missiles and all of those stuff. But this guy said, hey, you can't do that. The deal is that there's a deal. There's a deal. And for you remember that time that a missile was sent to the bunker down below, and a lot of people were like, that wouldn't stop Iran. And really, that's not stop Iran, because right now it has gotten even more tensed. And people are saying, but you promised us peace. Now it's done on the MAGAs, it's done on the white folks, and they're like, is this how America is going to be great? Is this what you promised us about America being great? And they're like, how did we get here? I just hope that this will not escalate. If it has not already escalated, I hope this is going to stop as soon as possible. I hope. I just hope good things. This video, I'm wishing that the world will experience peace, and I'm wishing that this back and forth will come to it. This is why I'm just like, MAGA, is this what you voted for? Guys, let me know your comments, your views, your perception. And if you're a MAGA, Let me know what you're thinking right now in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, like, and share if you love this good content. That's what I do. And I would like to see you in our community of people. We speak our mind constructively, educating ourselves and enlightening ourselves, and we don't castigate anyone here. So join us by subscribing, liking, and share. So like, come your way again. Bye bye.